Okay, well, there's finally gonna be a new Nintendo Direct after like 500 days. There's like way too much that everyone wants. You make people wait 500 days, and people are just gonna go wild with what they want. Like someone's gonna be disappointed. Someone is going to be disappointed no matter what's in this, cause they can put like Breath of the Wild 2. They could put a Zelda Anniversary Collection or Mario Kart 9, whatever, and someone's gonna be disappointed because the wait was too long, and no matter what, it's gonna be underwhelming, but we have to take what we'll get. And I'm just gonna say what I want. Personally, I want way too much, obviously, because 500 days is way too much. And obviously, there's no way they could put too much into this direct. But like the last direct was 40 minutes long. This is going to be 50. So I'm expecting a bit, but like this like the last direct was considered to be very good. It had like Xenoblade, Overwatch, and Terry. So if we go with those standards, I think that a new Smash character is probably going to be in it, and I'm going to save that for last because that's what I want to talk about the most. But so for games, I'm thinking Zelda 35th anniversary, Metroid 35th anniversary, but Nintendo doesn't care about Metroid anymore. But hopefully we could get both. Breath of the Wild 2, obviously, and then I obviously want Metroid Prime 4, sorry, yeah, Metroid Prime 4, because we haven't heard about that since like E3 2017, and Bayonetta 3 news would also be great, because that was Game Awards 2017. We both got like a teaser for both games and nothing else for like 4 years. So I think giving us news about those games would be amazing. I also think that we should get an update on Pokemon Snap. Obviously, it's coming out in like April, but I think more information would be nice. And I think that we could get like like it's very unrealistic, but I think we could get the earlier Final Fantasies. Like I think we can get Final Fantasy 6 because that game was just, you know, apparent. Like I have not played it, but it's arguably the best Final Fantasy game of all time. So I'd love to have it on Switch. I think that Final Fantasy 1, 2, I don't know if they are on Switch, maybe they're on like NSO or something, but they should come to Switch eventually, either through NSO or like just on the eShop. And then speaking of NSO, I don't know how Earthbound has not gone on the on NSO. Like they have so many Switch like SNES games on Switch, but they just don't put Earthbound. It's honestly confusing to as to why. Everyone wants Earthbound, but they're just not giving it to us. I think they might have. Honestly, I don't know. I saw that um the what is it, the SNES game update, SNES game collection like updated today. Maybe they did add it, and I'm just being stupid, but I'm pretty sure they don't have Earthbound, and they should put Earthbound because that game is just too good to not put on NSO. Because I want to replay it. I don't want to get an SNES what is it called, emulator right now, and I'm not gonna buy it on my 3DS. And I want to replay it really badly. So just put on NSO. It's not gonna do anything bad. It's not gonna hurt. So yeah, I really hope that they do. And I think that they could get like this is a very weird pick, but I think they could get the Final Fantasy 13 trilogy. I like the that was very polarizing, and from what I know, because like I have not played it. It came out on PS3, Xbox 360, and PC. I have none of them, but I always wanted it to be on PS4, and and we never got it, and now the PS5 is out. So if we are to get it, the Switch is my only hope of getting it. And I'm down for a 13 trilogy, because even though it was very polarizing, like many people hated it and many people loved it, is just it's another Final Fantasy game. I have to get it. I have to play it. Like as like linear as a lot of it is from what I've seen. Eventually, I'm pretty sure it does open. Like it does open up. And as bad as some people may make it out to be, I honestly like don't think it's that bad. Like I have not seen much gameplay, but like sure at some time like I at some point in the game it is just hallway simulator. Like people don't lie when they say that, but like I just think it should come to Switch. It should come to modern hardware. Like is the fact that the only modern hardware that has it right now is PC is just bad. Like this game started a sub-series. Like Final Fantasy 15 started off as a spin-off of Final Fantasy 13. Final Fantasy Type 0 was set to be like in the same sub-series. So many games have pulled inspiration from this series from this trilogy of games that it needs to be on modern hardware. So I just think that we need to have Final Fantasy 13 on Switch because that would just be great. Sure, lots of people would just not like it, and Final Fantasy 15 was rebranded. Maybe a part of it was rebranded just because if it was called Versus 13, people wouldn't like it because it was had 13 in the name. But people that haven't experienced 13 should be able to, and people that liked it should be able to see it on modern hardware because that game came out in like 2000 like 6 to 9, I don't really remember, but it needs to come out on modern hardware because the last time 13 just like I don't want to sound like a broken record, but yeah. And then the other two games, these were not well received by like lots of people I know, but if you want, if you're gonna put 13 on modern hardware, you then might as well put 13.2 in Lightning Returns too. Like it won't be that hard, and like they're working on 16, but that's not the team that made 13. They're and they're working on 14, but that's the same team as 16. So there's no problem with putting 13 on Switch. It's just a matter of if Square Enix wants to after the reception that 13 got. And then I think that uh, Dragon Quest could definitely get more games on Switch. I think 7 and 8 got remakes on 3DS, and I know many people probably won't want it on 3DS now. That's a great time to put on Switch. The 3DS got discontinued, uh, sadly, but that there's nothing you can do about it. Lots of games released late in the 3DS's lifespan, and Dragon Quest I think 8 was one of them. Put like put on Switch. Obviously, they'd probably have to do a HD remaster, because if they don't, then they just will be under fire. But I don't think it would be too much of a hassle. I mean, a lot of things would not be too much of a hassle, and I'm asking for a lot, I know, but if Dragon Quest 7 and 8 managed to get on Switch, that would be great. And I think now is the time where I just talk about my obsession with the Tales series and just say I want Tales games on Switch. We have Tales of Vesperia, but there has to be more. Like when you hear the Tales series, it's either uh oh, what is that? Or you think of a character a character that's Lloyd Irving. I like way too many people know Lloyd Irving, and that game like Tales of Symphonia came out in the thing I think like 2003. There like it has to come to Switch. Like it's like the best selling uh Tales game. It's the most iconic for sure. So I don't see the problem with putting it on Switch. And then and there's another game that I really, really want on Switch from the Tales series, and that's Tales of Berseria. Like, I've played Tales of Berseria, and I really, really love it. And I'll get it if it's on Switch. It's a great game, and I think that putting it on Switch would just expose people to the Tales series even more, and then the Tales series will finally get the recognition it deserves. Tales of Berseria is just a great game. I don't want to go in depth, but it's it's way too good to just be on PS4 and Steam. It needs to come to more platforms because that game is like amazing. Honestly, I I kind of like it more than Breath of the Wild. I haven't finished Breath of the Wild, but I like it way more than Breath of the Wild. And that's maybe just me being like loving RPGs a lot and just not liking Zelda as much as I do with RPGs and the Tales series. But Tales of Berseria is honestly an amazing game, and it deserves a Switch release as much as Tales of Symphonia does. And like the fact that it's a PlayStation hit, the fact that like if you don't think of Lloyd Irving when you think of the Tales series, you're probably gonna think of Velvet Crow because that game is like honestly, it's probably one of the best in the franchise. I haven't played all of them, like I haven't played all of them, but it has to be up in like the top five because that game is phenomenal. I don't want to. I'm just gonna stop now because I don't want to keep talking about this. But Tales of Berseria needs to come to Switch, and it really does. So yeah, yeah, and I think that if we're lucky enough, we could get more update. We could get an update on SMT5, all as well as Persona 5 Royal coming to Switch. Because if that happens, that would be insane. Like so many people want Persona 5 Royal on Switch. Like you can just search it up right now. I'll search it up right now. It's insane. It's actually insane how many people want this game on Switch because it's a great game. I have only played like the first 10 hours of it, but it needs to come to Switch eventually. And uh, for SMT5, like I'm pretty sure that's like a Switch exclusive. Like why are they hiding information on this? Like it's set to release in early 2021. Yeah, we have barely any information. Like I think that we could get more because all I remember from of information from for SMT5 is just like a teaser trailer. Like we need more, and I might as well say it, but I think that if we're getting Bravely Default 2, we might as well get Bravely Default 1, Bravely 2nd, and that stuff on Switch. Because if you're gonna make a Bravely Default sequel, even if it has nothing to do with the first one, put the other ones out as well. I don't think it would be that hard. Those games like aren't the best graphically, like, and you don't really need to have it as a remaster for people to be interested in it. You've already made Bravely Default 1 so huge. Sorry, Bravely Default 2. You made it so huge, you made it such a big deal that no matter what, people would be interested in another one. I don't see why they're not putting it on Switch. Like sure it's a 3DS game, so you might know it might be hard to implement like how they use the second screen, but I don't think it would be that hard. And I also think that this is just me being stupid, but the SAO games, like those could come to Switch. Like obviously, they could probably run well because like they're not going they're not going for like really impressive in the graphics department. It's just about gameplay and story. So I don't think it's hard to put it. Like they put Hellblade, they put The Witcher 3 on Switch. They put Skyrim on Switch. The SAO games will be fine. It's just a matter of if Bandai has a deal with PlayStation to keep it, or if they just don't want to. And I think that it may just be me. I honestly don't know, but I don't think we've had much information on No More Heroes 3. Like all I know is that it's supposed to release this year, but I don't know. So, might as well give us some information. Is this gonna be a huge direct? So put something, But yeah, I feel like there's there's gonna be a lot in this direct, and I'm asking for a lot. There's no way all of this is gonna be in. But I think that this direct will be insane no matter what. And yeah, like I said before, it will be underwhelming no matter what, because you make everyone wait 530 days. You make this direct 10 minutes longer than the last one. People are going to expect way too much. But I feel like even if people are underwhelmed with how little there is, I think the standard for little would be like a lot. I feel like no matter what, like I said this, but people will be underwhelmed. But there will be a lot, and people will only be underwhelmed if like people will be underwhelmed if like the smallest thing would be missing. Like I'm not saying what I'm about to list is small, but like if one thing is missing from this direct, people will be underwhelmed. Like if Bayonetta was missing, I'd be underwhelmed. Lots of people would be underwhelmed. If like SMT or Persona would be missing, not people would be underwhelmed. If there was no Smash, everyone would be underwhelmed. Like this direct has set the bar because there's been such a long wait, and knowing the reception from the last full direct, this just the announcement alone is implying that this direct will be amazing. And so I just like to talk about two more things that I want. And one thing is the Diamond and Pro remix. Obviously, like I do not like Pokemon anymore. Like I hate Game Freak. I really hate Game Freak. Like all they do is just copy paste a game every year. But if they could pull off Diamond and Pro remix, like Game Freak from the DS era was amazing. If they could just go back to how they were back then and make Diamond and Pearl remakes, that would be amazing. Or if like they just give it to like any other developer. If they get if the Pokemon Company or Nintendo, damn I can't talk. Like if Nintendo or the Pokemon Company just gives uh the games to like Monolith, Square Enix, Bandai, the games wouldn't disappoint. They'd be amazing. And I think that like either way, people are gonna like this if it happens because it's Diamond Pearl Remix. Like no matter how bad Game Freak will do it, it will not be bad just because it's Sinnoh. But or like people will not think it's bad. People are gonna have fun with it because it's Pokemon, and they're gonna be blinded by nostalgia because it's Pokemon, and more specifically, it's Diamond and Pearl. But I think that in order to get the Diamond Pearl remix right, they need the platinum content. They need the platinum decks. They need the platinum. They need the distortion world. They need like all the things exclusive to platinum. That's a huge thing. Like put version exclusive, sure, but you need the platinum things because essentially, as much as people might not say it is, or people like praise Diamond and Pearl, those games are unfinished. They are. The decks just does not look right. They're like two fire types. Platinum is what made Gen 4 as great as it was. Because if it wasn't for Platinum, they would have just Diamond and Pearl, which are essentially unfinished games. Like they had Challenge, but they were unfinished games, and they'd have Heart Gold and Soul Silver, and people would not be liking a Gen, which highlight was a remake, and that's why Gen 6 was not very good because Auras was just outshining X and Y. And like both sets of games were easy, but Auras was just way better. And I feel like Gen 4 was carried by Platinum. Like you can say how good Heart Gold and Soul Silver are. Gen 4 was saved by Platinum. Everything about that game is an improvement. and they need to carry that into these remakes. And they can't be sloppy like they were in Sword and Shield. They can't be lazy. They need to stay. They can stay faithful to the originals and make a shot for shot remake, and that will be better than modern Game Freak games. But I feel like people are gonna want more. They can they can add more Pokemon. They can, you know, add more features, but those will just be like things that people don't know. People that shit. Things that people don't care about. Sorry, I can't talk. But they need to have the Battle Frontier. They just need it. Like if they don't, games are over. Like Game Freak is over. If they don't have they don't have the Battle Frontier, it's just done. But yeah, they can't cheap out on this. They can't just copy and paste everything from Sword and Shield, but make it Sinnoh. They need to put heart into these games, and it'll be good. And now, I'll talk about the thing that I've been holding off since the start, and that is who I want for Smash. I have a full list of who I want for Smash, and I can pull it up, but I can tell you, and like I, I'll just tell you the ones I know by like heart because there are some characters that I just think need to be in Smash. Some are just unrealistic right now because of Sephiroth being in it. Because you know, uh, I like Final Fantasy a lot, and three of my picks in my top 10 are from Final Fantasy. One for being in Final Fantasy 7. So those picks are Arden, Noctis, and Tifa. I don't have any other Final Fantasy characters because I just finished FF7R and FF15. If I hadn't, they probably wouldn't be this high. But yeah, I think that those are just there because I just finished those games and I really like them. Tifa, I played Final Fantasy 7. I don't know why FF7R really made me want Tifa, but yeah, and she's been deconfirmed because of the me costume. But I think I'll just go with the characters I want in my list the least and work my way. But I think Fury, no shit, the Fury Bowser is just a joke. But I'm just reading my list. Sorry. Phoenix, right? He's in Marvel vs. Capcom for anyone who thinks that he can't have a moveset. But he's iconic. He needs to be in Smash. It's not that hard to put him in Smash, honestly. If like yeah, I just don't think it would be that hard to get him in Smash, and he's so like iconic and recognizable that people would really, really want him. Lots of people want him. This would not disappoint if he gets in. Another character I want to talk about is Skull Kid. With Zelda, their 35th anniversary is coming, and I want a Metroid character, but I don't really, I can't really think of one off the top of my head, because like, and also I don't think Nintendo would be celebrating Metroid's 35th anniversary over Zelda's, because Zelda prints money, Metroid does not. Metroid has a very dedicated fan base, and that's all it has. So putting another Metroid character as DLC would not be a good business move by Nintendo. So I think that a Metroid character is not a possibility. But I think Skull Kid. I love we could make it because I love Majora's Mask. I love it so much, and I think that they could easily put him in. Like he's an assist trophy, sure, but um, at this point anyone can get in. We got a spirit. We can get an assist trophy. So yeah. And number 8, I had Celica. Celica is from Fire Emblem Echoes or Shadows of Valentia. I'm just gonna skip this one because lots of people just would not like this. I know for a fact. People like there's probably people probably aren't watching this. I have like 11 subscribers, but someone's probably mad at a Fire Emblem character. But I just think that Shadows of Valentia is a great game. It deserves recognition, and since it was made so late in the 3DS's lifespan, it just does not like not many people know about it. But it truly is a great game. And then I had Tifa, but she's been deconfirmed. I don't really. And if you want to know why I like Tifa, I'm a Final Fantasy fan. Do I need more explanation? It's pretty simple. But then I have Master Chief. Like, lots of people want Doomguy, and the leak says Doomguy, but I think Master Chief is a bit more iconic. Sure, Doom was probably more groundbreaking for the first-person shooter, the shooters, for first-person shooters, but I think that Master Chief, over time, has become more a recognizable and iconic figure than Doomguy. Because, bro, Halo, it's the Xbox game. Xbox sales running low, you release a Halo and it's fine. Like, Halo is the, like, you have three mascots uh for each of the big three. It's Mario, Crash, and Master Chief. Like, you could say Steve, but it's not Steve. You could say Banjo, but he was on uh N64 before coming to Xbox. And if you want good Xbox representation, you have to go with Master Chief. But this can't happen because of Steve. It could, like, I really wanted to, but we're probably getting Doomguy. I'm fine with that though. Yeah, okay, so next on my list is Rex and Pyra. And so Rex and Pyra, if you don't know, Sakurai really wanted them in Smash, but because of the release date and due to time constraints, he couldn't put them in. I think that they could, because um Min Min got in, and Arms came out in 2017. Byleth got in. Fire Emblem Three Houses came out in 2019. They can definitely get Rex and Pyra in, because Xenoblade 2 came out in 2017. It's a matter of if they want another first party character in the Fighters Pass, because not many people like that. They want third party, and I understand that, but Rex and Pyra just need to. Like, the Xenoblade franchise needs more exposure, and the Xenoblade fans would be very pleased with Rex and Pyra. And honestly, they could be unique because you could have Rex and Pyra and Mithra. So it's not like just nice for fans. It could be they could be very versatile, and they could, you know, just be fun to play. And I feel like as long as characters are fun to play, I don't really care what character it is. Like, it could be a Gen 8 Pokemon, as long as it it plays well and I like it. I like the character in Smash. Like, I hate Gen 8, but if they put a Gen 8 Pokemon and it, like, feels good to play as, I might play as them. But yeah, I feel like the entire first party thing just shouldn't make sense. Like, it doesn't make sense. I mean, obviously people would want more representation from, like, third party icons. Like, when people saw Snake join Smash and Brawl, that was huge. When you see Sonic, when you see Pac-Man or Mega Man, or like uh any other huge third party character like Joker, like, that's so out of left field that generates so much, like, excitement, and I understand that. But for, like, a character not being wanted just because they're first party, like, no. Like, Rex and Pyra should be in Smash. I don't know why they're not. I don't know why they decided to go with Min Min before them, because many people wanted Rex and Pyra, not as many people wanted an ARMS character. So I feel like if they went with Min Min, they're probably gonna get Rex and Pyra in at some point in time. Okay, so next I have Noctis. This is deconfirmed because of Sephiroth. I just want to say Noctis, sick character, already in Tekken, so there's more inspiration if you want a fighting game. But I just want to say Final Fantasy 15 was great. I know people didn't like it because, as the chapter 13 just turns into Final Fantasy 13, but I feel like Noctis would be a great addition. I feel like he has lots of variety with all these different weapons. He has the point warp, which would be his up B, which would be insane just to throw your sword and teleport and smash. But yeah, sadly it's not happening. I wish it could, but it's not. And for number 3, I have On from Persona 5. This could happen because we had Square Enix rep from the both fighters passes. We had Microsoft for both. We could have Atlas in both, but I feel like On would not make it in because if we were going with a Persona character, it would probably be either Ryuji or Kasumi, not Makoto, because as popular as Makoto is, like going from like Nintendo's point of view or like Atlas's point of view, Ryuji and Kasumi would make much more sense. Like with the debate on who's best girl in Persona, that's a huge debate, but everyone can agree Ryuji's fucking insane. And with Kasumi, it just makes sense because she's like how they marketed Persona 5 Royal. That differentiates Persona 5 Royal and Persona 5. Like, she's such a huge addition to that game, and I feel like that would probably be one of the only realistic choices. But yeah, so sadly, On I don't think could make it, but I really, really, really want her in because she's my favorite character. But she probably won't. And then number two is Arden. He is also deconfirmed because of Sephiroth. He's the villain of Final Fantasy 15. If you don't know, he could be insane because as if I don't want to spoil Final Fantasy 15, but he is very similar to Noctis. His moveset is very similar to Noctis, and that's as far as I will go because I do not want to spoil it for anyone who is playing it right now. Because I feel like I don't want to spoil anything because I'm not going to talk more. But number one, I've already talked about this game before. I've already talked about this character. Velvet Girl from Tales of Berseria needs to be in Super Smash Bros. Ultimate. Just like think about it, because the Tales series needs to be represented. Bandai needs more characters. They only have one in Pac-Man, and they've helped with Smash so much that they need another character. And Velvet, I feel like it's when it comes to Tales, it's down to Velvet or what is it called, Lloyd, because yeah, I did some foreshadowing, but it really is down to Velvet and Lloyd. Lloyd is a more iconic character with being like the high selling Tales game and like regarded as very good, but also Tales of Berseria is regarded as very good, and it's very recent. It's got to 1 million copies sold in a matter of 4 years compared to Tales of Symphonia is like 3 million and 18, but obviously that comparison doesn't make sense, but Tales of Berseria is a phenomenal game. I don't want to ramble on about it. I don't want to ramble on about Velvet, but she is such a good character, and she has so much potential for Smash. And if you're not persuaded by that, I'm gonna show you some music from Tales of Berseria. And if you don't like I'm gonna show you Velvet's theme. If you do not like it, you will like. There's no way. If me not talking about how good of a game and how good of a character, how good of a game Tales of Berseria is and how good of a character Velvet is, let me just show you the music, and then you'll probably want it. Yeah, this is Velvet's theme is getting to even better parts, but I'm gonna keep this playing, but I hope this shows you. Like, imagine this playing in Evo Grand Finals. Like, this would be insane. I remember seeing people saying, imagine Rivers in the Desert playing in Evo Grand Finals. Imagine this. Like, Velvet would be such a good fit for Smash because the Tale series is iconic to in the JRPG scene, and Tales of Berseria is just a great game overall, and one of the best in the franchise. Many people like it. It sold very well for a JRPG, and the series itself sells better than Persona, Fire Emblem, I think SMT. So I think that Velvet should be in Smash. Like, sure, you could say Lloyd. Lloyd should also be in Smash. But Velvet, I love her so much more than Lloyd. So I think that Velvet is my #1 pick for Super Smash Bros. Ultimate. And if she does not get in, that would just be sad. Like, I'm fine with a lot of characters, but I feel like eventually, both Velvet and Lloyd should be in Smash. Both of them would make sense. Both of them would be hype as hell. And I just think that she's the perfect fit. And with that, I'm ending this video. Okay, so thank you for watching, and my friend will be streaming this on the direct on Twitch. I'll be there. You should also be there if you're watching this. So I'll see you there, and peace.